Hello guys, let's watch this video before I explain something. As you can see from that video, that is a urine sample that I done a antibiotic sensitive test, and that was the result. So I did a gram stain before. It was a gram negative bacteria. So after doing an antibiotic sensitive test, I found out that all 90% of those antibiotic were resistant. So what are the reasons behind this resistance, or what are the factors that might lead to that kind of resistance? So there are two factors that can lead to that kind of resistance. One might be to the material that you are using, and the other one might be to the patient factors. So under patient factors, this might be caused due to the overuse of the antibiotics. Maybe the patient has used several antibiotics in a way that they tend to be resistant, has used many antibiotics, and the doctor has not indicated there under the history of the patient that these are the kind of drugs that this patient has used. And or also the patient might lie to the doctor that he has used certain antibiotics and yet has not used. And also the patient might also forget to tell the doctor these are the kind of drug, because maybe the patient has been treated in a certain hospital and has come to this hospital to take to do this type of test. So he's not able to remember all the kind of drug that he has used. So that one might lead to that resistance. The other one is wrong antibiotic use. We are using wrong antibiotics in a way that we start with a broad spectrum and leaving the narrow spectrum. So this narrow spectrum, when you start using a third line or a fourth line generation or a second line generation, leaving the first line of the kind of drug might lead to this kind of resistance. So you're supposed to start with the first line of antibiotics, then you come to the second. When you find the resistance, you come to the third and the fourth one generation. So that one might reduce this kind of resistivity. The other one is incomplete treatment of the patient. If the patient has been given a dose, and when he feel that he's okay, he just leave the other drug, or he leave the dose incomplete, or he does not complete the dose. So this one can lead to this type of resistance, because when these bacteria get a reinfection, or reinfection may occur, and the same bacteria you get infected with the same bacteria by the same bacteria, it might lead to resist that the drug that you are given initially. So make sure you complete your dose to reduce the resistance. Under the material that may lead factors that may lead to this kind of resistance, one, the contamination during preparation of the McFarland, or contamination or mixed growth of the bacteria in a plate. Mixed growth can lead resistance because you're having two different bacteria, then you're using same drug. It may lead to resistance because you're supposed to use a pure culture to do antibiotic sensitive tests. When there are two, you're supposed to separate them to do different, so that at least you can obtain different results for the different bacteria. So ensure you're using pure culture when you're doing your antibiotic sensitive test. The other one is about the expired reagent or expired disc. This disc, when they expire, they might give you a wrong, not they will give you a wrong result in terms of resistance. It might increase the resistance, or might give you a wrong sensitivity test, where your drug is supposed to be a resistant, then you find that the drugs tend to be sensitive. So expired disc might lead to that kind of resistance. The other one, you're using wrong media. Actually, we are supposed to use Mulahinton for the antibiotic sensitive test. You find yourself that maybe you don't have that Mulahinton at that moment. You're using nutrient agar. Nutrient agar and Mulahinton, they are two different. So it's supposed to be an alternative, but you are supposed to use the correct media. So this kind of use of different media might lead to that kind of resistance. The other one is heavy inoculum. Preparation of your McFarland standard, 0.5 McFarland standard, is very important, because step by step when preparing the McFarland standard, it's supposed to be to be 0.5. You find yourself that your McFarland standard is about 1 or 2. This one causes heavy inoculum, hence might give you a wrong result or might result to that kind of resistance. So you're supposed to prepare your McFarland very well. The other one is about wrong incubation, of course. Wrong incubation, we are supposed to incubate our Mueller Hinton at 35 to 37 degrees Celsius. You find yourself that you're incubating, maybe your incubator has a fault. So you're incubating at 20 to 30 or a temperature above 35, temperature below 35, or temperature above 37 and temperature below 35 might lead to that kind of resistance. So ensure that you check your incubator before doing your incubation. So for that, if you reduce this kind of factors, you will get a good result. So I'm going to redo that kind of antibiotic sensitive test, and I will give feedback on that. Thank you.